All right, fellas. So Jets and Steelers. The old man wanted to win this game so bad. I mean, he was just, he was just seething. He wanted to win this game so bad. You, Doc just mentioned, when we was talking, he had to get up on the podium and say, "Well, I'm just glad everybody know, I could play quarterback again. That I always was a quarterback. That I'm the one of the best. Go sit down. Go sit down. Go sit down, man. I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, look, they won the game. They could have easily lost the game. Justin Fields played a great game. If it wasn't for your former boy Lee coming up with that hit at the end of the game, that was a big hit, man. That
Yeah,
was
Jay
a big hit, man.
Ramsey. Big up to
Yeah,
Ramsey.
Ramsey with that hit. I mean, that really helped them out. But I could care less about Aaron Rodgers. I really don't care. This actually pissed me off a lot because for him just to come up there, I almost had to turn the TV off. I'm glad they went on to another segment after he was talking about that. Anyway, Steelers win the game, man, and but I wasn't too impressed with Aaron Rodgers. So what you got? What you guys got to say on this one?
Doc, I'm gonna let you hit this one first because
No, you covered, but four touchdowns, right? Had a good game. I think for the Steelers, as long as defense plays well, spreads the ball around, he doesn't have to carry the load every single week. We'll see. We'll see where they go in the playoffs. The AFC's stock though, so that's going to be that's a hard gauntlet to run, right? But he ain't throwing for 5,000 yards, right? He's not that guy. He had a good game. Might be his best game of the season, first game of the season. We're gonna see. But when you go up there, the man just thrives on vengeance, right? You could just see the smugness, you guys thought I couldn't do it anymore, but I'm glad to show them I can still play quarterback. And it's like, yeah, you've been brewing about this all off season.
Yeah.
Just to let them know. Now you got it. You can relax. You got your little trophy on the wall. But yeah. So
He could come back to himself soon enough. He'll come back there. What you got, Lee?
I'm all for petty Aaron, man. I'm all for the pettiness. I love it.
the dude is petty. The dude
He's
is petty.
And the thing is, what I like about it, right? I mean, even at this stage of his career, 42, the man, he back it up. He went out there and he whooped him 4 touchdowns. He didn't just manage the game. Four touchdowns. Okay, critical throws, right? Hitting open guy, going through his reads, actually moving in the pocket, right? And you knew the Jets wanted to lay it to him. They wanted to really, really put it on him, and they didn't. They couldn't. Um, Look, Aaron, we all know who Aaron is. Aaron, going into that game, and what was so funny, he made it seem as if, this is just another game, it's week one. It's not a big deal. And then after the game, I really wanted to stick it to those guys.
Yeah.
Right. I heard whispers that they thought I couldn't play anymore. So, I just wanted, he said he wanted to beat all of them,
Yes.
all of them. So it was something that he's petty.
From Woody Johnson
wanted to
all
stick
down,
him
right?
all the way down from the top
Yep.
the top to the coach,
Yep.
even to the players, because I think there was something out there about him and Garrett Wilson. They hadn't spoken all off season for whatever reason. So I'm all for that. But I also want to give kudos to Justin Fields. Justin Fields looked like, I think he's found his groove. He's found an organization that's going to back him up, allow him to play his style. I always said that after his rookie season, when he really showed the athleticism, if they allow him to mature and grow into the position by leveraging the athleticism first and then giving him time to learn the nuances of the position, he could have sort of like a Lamar Jackson type of growth. I'm not saying he's going to be Lamar Jackson, but I think that was the path that they should have taken. The Bears, and we're going to get to that,
Yep.
should have really invested in him, invested into the skill set that he had, and build the team around him instead of trying to make him into something that he isn't.
I always thought, Justin Fields was a solid quarterback. Like I say, I've been following him since he was in high school, a sophomore in high school. I've been following him, and I always thought he had these skills. Even when he was at Georgia and didn't play behind Jake Fromm, I was glad that he transferred to Ohio State because it gave him the opportunity to blossom and show his. Lee, I know you know.
I wasn't glad about that.
I know you didn't like that. I know
Yeah.
you didn't like that. But yeah, I always thought Justin Fields was a solid quarterback who, given the right coaching and in the right system for him, he could thrive, man. And it really, I agree, yeah, it really looks like in this system, he is going to thrive. I mean, I really liked his game. It really showed. I think he put it on display for a lot of people this week what kind of quarterback he is. And, because a lot of people have written him off, like, just like, y'all go ahead and take him. But I'm glad for him. I'm happy for him. I think, the Jets, I think Aaron Glenn, Jets, they're gonna be, they're gonna be one of those teams that, is right there in the hunt trying to get into the playoffs and at the end of the day. So, happy for Justin on that, man.
Offensive-minded head coaches tend to want to put up as many points as possible. Defensive-minded coaches want to win the game.
Mm.
They don't care how the game gets won. If the quarterback got to run for 60 yards and get a touchdown running the ball each game, they'll take it. Right? They're trying to be pretty. It's not trying to zip the ball all over the field. Hey, move the ball, eat clock, keep the defense fresh. We gonna win as a team, right? And so you will occasionally get the offensive guys who just will make the adjustments, but oftentimes it's the defensive and the special teams minded coaches that really see how everything comes together and will use the skill sets they have as best as they can, whereas the offensive-minded ones tend to be like, we going to do it this way, and we going to keep doing it this way until we get the pieces to fit the way I want it to go.
Right. Yeah.
And that's really good perspective. And you're right. When I take account of how offensive-minded coaches, how they think and how they try to make the quarterback fit their scheme, right? But that's more of an indictment now on Eberflus, right? Because it was Eberflus who had Fields. Eberflus is a defensive-minded coach, and Eberflus saw how it worked with Fields that first year, and still co-signed on changing and trying to switch stuff up. So I think you just need a smart coach, right? You need a smart head coach that understands how to win and does what it takes by using the skill sets of the players that he has to his available.
We'll get to the Bears and Eberflus, but I get where you're coming from. And yes. I don't think he's a smart head coach, which is why he's not a head coach right now.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So with that, Doc, I know your Vikings, man. We've been talking about, we talked about this, earlier on in the summer with JJ McCarthy and your Vikings, man. Vikings versus Bears Monday night game. JJ looked good, man. JJ looked good. JJ, I mean, I know he started off slow. Getting your rhythm and stuff like that. But man, I was truly impressed with JJ, man. I mean, just to see the maturity in the half and the play calling for O'Donnell, really I think helped that out, helped to get him in his groove, get a couple wins, and then that kind of he relaxed. Obviously, for any rookie quarterback, not rookie, but he's been in this first year playing. But I mean, he just commanded the game after that, and that backbreaker of a 19-yard run at the end of the game to seal it, and that was, again, I saw this 2 weeks in a row where a defensive end is taking the inside route instead of keeping contained. The exact same thing that I saw in the Kansas City game before, where Chris Jones went for the inside take, and then your boy goes on the outside. Yeah, Herbert went and sprinting down on the outside. The exact same thing. So they got to watch them film. But man, I was truly impressed with JJ McCarthy, in that second half coming through. And I mean, your Vikings look good, man. Y'all look pretty solid, man.
Let me start by saying it is always going to pain me, as long as JJ McCarthy is a Viking, that to say something good about somebody from Michigan. But let me say, put that out there. I ain't gonna lie. The first half, I was a little worried. And then that pick six, that was one of the ugliest pick sixes I have seen in a long time. So I was like, I don't know about this guy, right? This ain't the game. Maybe he'll come into it during the rest of the regular season. And for some reason, some people have to screw up to like wake up. Somehow I think in his mind he was like, hey, that is literally the worst thing I could do. I'm still here. Okay, let me go. It can only go up from here, right? Play at home, hometown, through a pick six. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, the dude played like a seasoned veteran, making the right reads, making pinpoint passes, hitting running backs on a wheel route 30 yards downfield, right? On their option play, keeping it, taking it around the outside. The dude played really well. And it was exciting to see him come into his own and then to see the team starting to rally around him. The defense not feeling good because like, oh, we now got a reason to keep playing good defense because now the offense scoring some points that shut this thing down. And so it is nice to know he was able to play at that level by the end of the game, essentially his first game as a rookie quarterback, right? Let's see, a second year guy, but his first game playing. And so the positive outlook is awesome because he should only get better. And then when we get Addison back in another 2 weeks, we now got a three-headed monster wide receiver, right? It's going to be good. We got a great defensive-minded head coach. The head coach / OC calls plays that fits the quarterbacks that he has. And McCarthy's got a lot of talent, a lot of athletic ability, seems smart, doesn't let bad plays get to him, which is what you want in your leader. You're always kind of being positive and moving things forward. So no, things are good. I'm happy about the win. I'm happy about what I saw. And I'm happy to see him step up after the mistake and rallying the troops himself. Hey, let's go get this.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, no, I think for one, I co-sign on everything Doc just said, right? It did look shaky. I was concerned about old Blue right there, right? You know, he represents in that Michigan. So, you know, you want to see those guys succeed. But that being said, there's something about JJ McCarthy that I think a lot of people are going to need to understand is that he doesn't always play like stylistic football. Like it's not going to always look pretty, but he's a winner. I think there's a stat that was floating around out there that since his sophomore year in high school,
Yeah,
he's 64-3.
and 3.
It was from high school, college, then just yesterday. Of course, he has a lot more football to play, but that's the background, okay? When he was with Michigan, it wasn't always pretty. He's technically sound. He knows how to run a pro-style offense. He is careful with the ball. He's a good distributor of the ball. He just does what it takes to win. Whether it's scrambling, whether it's getting it to the open guy, whether it's taking it long, he will do whatever the coach asks him to do in order to get that W. And that's what he did yesterday. He also has a short-term memory when it comes to mistakes. And we also saw that on display, right? So he doesn't get down. He's an optimistic person. Like he's always thinking and motivating himself. I think he does a lot of, you know, like yoga and all these other different things to kind of boost his mentality. Like he's really conscientiously trying to always better himself. So, you know, I think Minnesota has their guy. I think he's only going to go up from here. And I think he also has the skill set to really be that stylistic quarterback that we would want to see on display. Okay, so I think that's good. On the flip side of that now, I think one more thing about JJ. He's only 22. Like today. Like he's only 22, right? Penix is 25. O'Nix is 25, right? So he's very young for a starting quarterback in the NFL, even after having that gap year last year without playing. So there's still a lot more growth. The ceiling is tremendously high for him. So I think being with O'Connell, he's in a good place. He's in a good place.
Yeah. Hold on, Lee. Before you go on that flip side, I just wanted to say one thing.
Yeah.
I would really also impress me. You know, the shot of them in the locker room at the end of the game when, you know, O'Donnell was saying, you know, talking about him and saying, you know, this guy, you know, had a running touchdown. You know, he threw for 2 touchdowns or whatever it was, and then, you know, he came in there and they gave him the game ball and he was fired. Man, he was fired up, man. And what that told me right there was, this kid is in command of, he not only earned the respect, he had the respect, right? But he truly now earned the respect of the locker room, and the fired up intensity that I saw. That's the kind of players that I like, man. I like those kind of guys. I like those kind of guys who they playing with some serious fire, and I could see that from him. And so I think he's gonna be great, man. He's gonna be one of those quarterbacks, and I'm glad you touched on that with him only being 22. He is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. So Doc, y'all got a good one, man. So yeah, Lee.
No, man, I'm happy. And there was a worry for me before the game. Is he able to utilize the skill set of Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson and Addison and Thielen? And it's like, yeah, yes, he can. And so that was exciting, is he can really maximize this offense and all the different weapons that the offense has and what the head coach wants to do. And it's going to be really exciting to watch, to see that offense hum when he really kind of gets it and is able to make all those pieces go.
Right. And he was down a guy, right?
Yep. Addison's out.
Addison didn't play. Right.
Yep.
So he's down a guy. He didn't have all of his weapons at his avail. Yes, we all know Jefferson is A+, but still, in comparison to the Bears had basically all of their weapons. Right? Minnesota didn't.
Jump on that flip side, man.
Speaking of the Bears.
Speaking of the Bears. So before this game, I think when Links, when we were talking about our assessments and what we were expecting to see, when we were talking about the Bears, I said I was concerned about the style of the offense and the compatibility or lack thereof with its quarterback, Caleb Williams. And that was on full display yesterday. He started off pretty hot, right? The first half, but there were a lot of unforced mistakes. I think you had about 4 to 5 false starts. You had some mismanagement of handing off the ball, not making the right reads, missing the open guy. And even with all of that, it still went pretty well for them. They were up. Yet on the, JJ was trying to get his footing. Bears were, up in points. But then you have this guy on the other side as well for the Vikings called Brian Flores, where he's going to start making adjustments. And I give a lot of credit to Brian, because what he did in that first quarter, he only blitzed once. He wanted to see what that offense was going to do. He wanted to see how that quarterback was going to play. And after he made that assessment, that one went up. And I think it went from 29% in the first half to 44% blitz rate. So he started to bring that pressure, and then we started to see more of the scrambling from Caleb Williams, trying to make stuff happen, razzle dazzle, right? And then all of that stuff that they was coaching him during the offseason to try to play in structure, all of it went out the window. Now all of a sudden he's trying to throw the cape back on. He's making, and look, he can make some awesome throws on the run. Like some of those, the arm angles and the way that he gets the ball out, it's almost as if he's more accurate when he's off kilter than when he's set. So that being said, Caleb Williams, I think he played the way I expected him to. It was going to be rough. He doesn't play that style of quarterback. You could tell he's trying to do it. I still wonder if Ben, in the long run, if he's going to have the patience to stick with him, because it's going to take a while for Caleb to unlearn all of those, theatrics that he's able to do, that he defaults to when things aren't going his way. When he doesn't see the field the way that Ben wants him to see the field, what's going to happen if that continues on into the midseason, later, to the end of the season? What happens if it continues into next season? I wonder if the Bears at some point, with Ben kind of pushing for it, I wonder if they start looking for someone that's more compatible with that offense that he wants to run. But it's too early, right? This is an overreaction. I get it. And I'm all, this is week 1. We don't know what's going to happen, but it doesn't look good from a relationship standpoint right now with Caleb and Ben.
Yeah. If I'm an overreactor by nature. So I'm just gonna say, I don't know if this is gonna work out, man. I really don't know if this is gonna work out. Caleb got a lot of he look, this is the blueprint, So teams have already seen this. You blitz him, it's out the window. So now, if he's not able to work within Ben's system how to handle the blitz instead of running around and trying to make something happen, it's going downhill. And it's not and I'll tell you this, even as a fact, if this continues halfway through the season, I could see the backup coming in. Because the backup, what's the Badgett, right? Because he is more structured and he would fit Ben more, and he would be like, you know what, Caleb, take a seat. Let me bring this dude in who I know is going to run it like how I want to run it. So I'm going to give Caleb Williams halfway through the season. If this continues, and I know defensive coordinators saw this film, and when they are playing the Chicago Bears, they are going to duplicate this. I don't know, man. I don't feel too optimistic for him. Not saying he's a good quarterback, given the right team. Sort of just like a Justin Fields, right? You know, you gotta get in the right system with the right coach who's going to, you know, maximize your skills that you have. And I don't see it based off of what I see. And this is just week one, like you say, Lee, right? But I'm an overreactor, man. I'm giving him half the season.
And Links, and sorry, Doc, I'm gonna let you jump in, but I wanna reference this as well, right? Another reason as to why I think it's gonna be tough sledding for Caleb and Ben. I think there are outside forces that are purposefully trying to sabotage this. Okay? There was an article by a writer called Tyler Dunn. He was on Colin Cowherd's show yesterday. And they referenced an article that this Tyler Dunn wrote. It's a 3-part article. Now, there's a paywall to see the whole thing. I didn't pay to read the whole thing, but there's some excerpts from it, and I'm gonna tell you, it's pretty intense, and it does not paint Caleb or Ryan Poles and the Bears organization in a favorable light. So they're talking about how the Bears went about acquiring Caleb Williams and how they did not do their due diligence. They didn't interview any other quarterback. They didn't interview Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix or J.J. McCarthy or Michael Penix, who I wonder what Michael Penix would be doing in this system right now, right? That would be dangerous. But they didn't do any of that. Ryan Poles was dead set on just drafting Caleb Williams, did not properly interview him, did not properly vet him, and basically gave him the keys to the car before day one. So now when he comes into the organization, he has this entitlement where Eberflus, who on the scale of importance or who has the most cachet, Caleb Williams comes in and trumps him automatically from day one. So he doesn't really have to do what Eberflus tells him to do. He doesn't have to listen. As a matter of fact, the article goes into talking about how, at the behest of Caleb Williams, they had to change the way they call plays. They had to change their cadences. They had to accommodate everything that he needed and wanted in order for him to play the position for them. Okay? So when they started to go through their carousel of head coaches, when Eberflus got tossed, and then they brought in the other guy, and he had to go through all these different coaches, he wasn't listening to anything that they said. Thomas Brown, who ended up being the interim coach at the end of the season, he was trying to give him a play, and they said that Caleb Williams just outright ignored him, went back to the huddle, and they ended up losing the game. Now, this is what's in the article, and I do want to emphasize that all of his sources are anonymous, so there's a little bit of like a grain of salt that I'm taking with this, but this writer is on air advocating and co-signing on everything that he's written. And then Colin Cowherd himself said that some of the things that was in this article, he has sources in Chicago that backed it up. Right? So you got Ben now. Ben is in. Ben is no nonsense. So Caleb, and now Ben has the cachet, right? Ben now is the guy. And so Caleb now has to kind of walk to that tune. And I think Ben, knowing all of this stuff, seeing all of what, seeing what he's seeing, he's not going to have any tolerance. Did you see Ben Johnson's, did you see his demeanor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Even like I'm watching his interaction with Caleb, it is stoic. It is just like I
Mm-hmm.
don't see anything there. Now, I get that he might be that type of coach. I get that, but I doubt that he has any sort of affinity towards Caleb right now. It just doesn't look like it when you see them two together in the same space. So, with all of that going on, I think it's going to be very difficult for this relationship to survive if Caleb doesn't ramp up his play and learn the system this season.
This is what makes the Bears the Bears. This is why I'm glad the Bears are in the NFC North. They got the can't miss project, and it looks like he's a miss so far, right?
Yeah.
The dude is talented. The dude makes throws. The dude makes plays that are amazing. And yet, sitting in the pocket, guys streaking down the sideline, overthrows him by 5 yards. And you're like, how could you hit the turnaround three-pointer, and then miss the layup? Like, where's the discipline? Where's the technique? Where's like whatever, right? And some guys just if they're just doing stuff off the cuff, they're fine. But to sit and think about it, they get in their own head and they get in their own way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you now have a GM who comes in who doesn't do due diligence, so the quarterback comes in entitled. Whether he's an entitled person or not, it's not my point. They allow for entitlement to come in. Okay? Things aren't working, so now you got a new head coach, but the head coach, that's not his guy. So they bucking heads.
Right.
So if it don't work out, at some point, either the quarterback got to go or the head coach got to go. Then at some point, you're like, well, we got the right player, so the GM's going to go. But you don't have the GM and the head coach and the quarterback on the same page. And that's... Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, right? But I want to talk about that part right there in terms of him not being his guy, right? We all know the history of the Bears. They always mismanage this head coach quarterback, right, relationship. They mismanage it this is going back now 10 years, okay? McVay with the Rams. I think McVay is for an offensive-minded coach, I think he's one of the most forgiving coaches in terms of trying to make the offense work around the talent that he has. Okay? Even in all of that, don't forget, Goff wasn't his guy. He met Goff there, and he coached Goff up to where Goff got him to a Super Bowl. And just based off of what that performance looked like in that Super Bowl, and then the next year, how his play declined, McVay did not hesitate. He got rid of him. That wasn't his guy. He didn't pick him. And Goff was not playing up to the standard that they needed him to. They said he couldn't expand his playbook because Goff just wasn't getting it. You see? So with Ben, Caleb's not his guy. So if Caleb is not able to work that playbook and have that playbook expand, because now this is just the beginning. Right? He's just now introducing his calls and his play style. He has a lot more stuff that he wants to do, but if this quarterback can't even get the basics down, he's not going to tolerate that for the long run. That's not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen.
Here's the difference, though, Lee. Les Snead as a GM is going to do any and everything he can to help his head coach. So even if he was the one that drafted Goff, if it comes down to it, Goff's not your dude, cool. For the good of the team, let's trade Goff. I got you, head coach.
And this was the year after making him the highest paid quarterback in the league. Got rid of him. He's not his guy.
But Poles, Caleb Williams is his guy. So is Poles going to back up Ben Johnson if things ain't working out and trade Caleb Williams and help bring in a guy that fits Ben Johnson's scheme, right? Which gets you now everybody being in sync on the same page. But I don't think the owner is going to tell the GM to listen to the head coach. And that's why you always see this asynchrony with certain organizations.
Yeah. Yeah. It always when you have an active owner that is trying to also play a GM role, just be the owner. Just be the owner. Just own the team. Just sit down, just own the team, and and just do what you do, right? Don't try to be the GM. When you try to be the GM, you end up like Dallas. And you can't be the GM and the
He
owner,
is the
man.
GM. What you talking about? The title says it.
All I'm saying is, if Poles knows what's good for him, for his job situation, Ben Johnson. He's seen what Ben Johnson could do with a quarterback. We're gonna talk about Goff at the end, right? But anyway, you see what he can do with a quarterback. You need to listen to him for your job's sake. I would say, look, all right, what you need, man. Let's make this move. Whatever we got to do, let's make this move because I want to keep my job too. But if the owner is overriding all of this, then they get what they get. This so I don't know. But anyway, we'll just move on from that. So this game, what I call this game, it was like a juggernaut game, right? Baltimore, Buffalo. And this was like these the teams. This was the team. This was the divisional round game to go to the AFC Championship to meet with Kansas City last year. And if you guys remember, Baltimore lost with the throw to the tight end, and he bumbled it at the end. Was right there and lost the game. If he would have caught it wide open, if he would have caught it, they win the game. They go to the AFC Championship. Throughout this whole game, look, I turned the game off. I was like, this is over. Baltimore got this. I think it was a pick or it was something that happened. I can't remember what it was, but I turned the game off. I said, "Oh, Baltimore got this. This it's over." I turn around. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I look up and I say, 40? I say, how in the world did this even happen, man? But then when I went back and I saw the fumbles and I saw what happened, I was just like, these guys got buzzard luck, man. How in the world do you lose that game? You had this wrapped up. This was in a bow. This was done. How do you lose that? So this was a juggernaut of a game again. I mean, look, I'm looking at this. Buffalo scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's ridiculous. You got Josh Allen looking like MVP, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Lamar played an excellent game. He did everything he could do. I mean, he did it all. He did whatever he could do, but the turnovers, again, I don't know with Baltimore. I don't know if they lose focus. I don't know what it is. At the end of the games, I mean, they typically do this all the time. They win in the game, and then at the end of the game, they find some way to lose it. It's just ridiculous, man. But I mean, hats off to Buffalo. They just kept fighting, kept themselves in the game, and made the necessary plays, got the turnovers to win this game. This was a great game. Like I say, I turned the thing off thinking Baltimore already had it, and Buffalo came up with the win. Man, amazing.
You got the former MVP and the last MVP going toe to toe, right? And Lamar's looking good. Early in the game, Derrick Henry looking like God's gift to football. I mean, Buffalo got 8 in the box, and they still busted off long runs. It's like, y'all done. You could bring 9 in the box. They're going to throw it eventually, but, I mean, you done. You got one safety back, and they still run the ball on y'all. But yet somehow they Buffalo's staying within shouting distance. They ain't getting quite blown out, but clearly Baltimore is in the lead. And then somehow snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Derrick Henry uncharacteristically fumbles, right? They still get the ball back and go 3-and-out, right? You put up 40 points, and then when it counts, you can't get a first down. Like, I don't, right? And so, Allen gets, 2 rushing touchdowns and over 2 passing touchdowns again. Like, dude's got, 7 of them. Like, just some crazy stat where the closest is, I think, Steve Young with 4. And then Cam Newton got 3 games, but it's 2-2, right? Dude got another one just starting off the season, right? Clearly his engagement ain't got nothing to do. Like, he's still focused. Yeah. He ain't letting his engagement, distract him from football, because the dude had a heck of a game. We're still waiting to see either Buffalo or Baltimore knock off Kansas City. Until one of them does, KC's the team in the AFC. but Baltimore just seemingly finds some way, some uncharacteristic, you've got to be kidding me way to lose the big game, like the game that should matter the most, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, you know, Derek, I want to touch on Derrick Henry real quick because Derrick Henry is one of those rare specimens where he's just like gifted by God, but has the work ethic to go along with it, right? Normally, people that are that gifted by this time, they wouldn't do their due diligence to kind of keep up, and he would have tailed off by now, but he hasn't. Fun fact about him, I think in his 10 years now in the NFL, he has about 11,592 rushing yards. And he still hasn't reached the amount of rushing yards he's had in his high school years. Over 11,000 in the pros over 10 years. In high school, I think he's over 12,000 rushing. Yeah, in high school. You could you imagine how many kids quit football because of him? You know, I mean, that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But no, but going back to the game, you had Baltimore seems to find a way to lose these games, and they tend to, and it's not a repeat offender. It's someone different
They take
every
turns.
time.
They take
They
turns.
take turns. In this situation, Derrick Henry, who never really fumbles the ball in a critical situation at a critical time of the game, allowing Buffalo to now catch up and stay alive, and you know what they did, they capitalize off of it. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's some sort of a hex, a curse, a jinx, what it may be, but they find a way to lose, even with stellar play from Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But Josh Allen, man, he's the truth. He's reigning MVP. We all know that, but he's playing like that one game, I think eclipsed any game he played last year. And if he continues on this, I think he's on his way to winning MVP again.
Yep.
But kudos to them. They have a good team around him. Not one singular superstar outside of him, but they have some really good functional pieces that fits. That defense, even though it's leaky, they are opportunistic. And I mean, because that fumble, they pulled that ball out of his arms. Like that wasn't just, you know, a fluke play. Like they stripped that ball out of Derrick Henry's hands. Kudos to them. I think Buffalo, they're definitely going to win the AFC East. I think they're going to make it to the AFC Championship and potentially.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here. John Harbaugh, coach of the Baltimore Ravens, he is a disciple of Andy Reid. Andy Reid, he was the defensive coordinator for the Eagles back when Andy Reid was there, or defensive coordinator or special teams, one or two. I think it was special teams. Special teams. Yep. And he was there, and you know, he got his shot with the Baltimore Ravens. I remember this. But he's a disciple of Andy Reid. If the Baltimore Ravens want to win, they got to get rid of John Harbaugh. They got to get rid of him. He got to go. I'm telling you, he's a descendant of Andy Reid. Andy Reid don't change. And I'm telling you, look, as much as people would say, look, this is not John Harbaugh's fault, man. This is the players. The players play the game, et cetera, et cetera. It's something going on. It's something going on, man. I don't know what it is, but look, it's the same Andy Reid syndrome. And I think that Baltimore Ravens, if y'all listening to me, go ahead and just part ways with John Harbaugh right now. If y'all want to win, if y'all actually want to get to the Super Bowl, part ways with John Harbaugh, and I bet you the next coach take y'all straight to the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
Don't listen to anything he just said. Don't do it. Links, I mean, okay, I didn't know John Harbaugh fumbled the ball. I didn't know John Harbaugh was on defense giving up those touchdowns, right? I didn't know John Harbaugh last year was the one that dropped a touchdown in the end zone. I didn't know John Harbaugh was on the field. What from a coaching, I understand Andy, and we get it. You're traumatized from those Andy Reid years with the Eagles, and he just never changed, right? John Harbaugh isn't that type of coach. John Harbaugh actually adapts. He actually adapts, right? This Baltimore Ravens team, the way that they play stylistically isn't the same as 3 years ago. Okay, so I think John Harbaugh is an excellent coach. He's not the one. There's nothing that I can really pinpoint that he has done from a coaching decision standpoint that caused them to lose this game. He called a good game.
Yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I agree with you on this. I agree that the guy is a great coach. But if you're trying to shake something up, something got to happen, man. I don't know.
But Lynx, he already won a Super Bowl, though.
Yeah.
You make it seem as if he didn't win. And
Yeah.
he's won a Super Bowl.
He has.
You gotta let go. You gotta let that Andy Reid thing go, man. You gotta let that go.
That's PTSD, man. That's
I mean, come on,
PTSD.
man. Anyone, like, if they was even in the same vicinity as Andy Reid, man, he's trash.
He's trash. You can't win with him. Can't win with him. Let him go. Let him go.
No. He interviewed with Andy. No, you can't hire him. You can't. Don't hire him.
Yeah.
He shook hands with Andy. You can't.
Yeah. Look, anyway, so I feel for Baltimore. I feel for them. Because it's just heartbreak, man. It's heartbreak. I was just talking to one of their fans, and it's just heartbreak because when you think, man, this is we got it. And this our year. We beating up on these dudes. That was the play. The play when I turned it off was when Derrick Henry broke that run. That's what it was when you said that. So when Derrick Henry broke that run, I said, "Oh, it's over. It's a done deal. And so, yeah, they find a way to lose. But, man, tough. I still think Baltimore's going to be there in the end. Obviously, they're going to be there in the end. They're going to be right there again. So, hopefully, they get another crack at this, man. We'll see if they get another opportunity. So, all right. I wanted to, Lee, I know you wanted to we got two quarterbacks. Well, three quarterbacks, actually, we wanted to talk about. Maybe four real quick, real quick.
It's only 32 starting quarterbacks in the league, man. Only 32 starting quarterbacks in the league.
I want to throw out. I'm going to throw out these names real quick. So, but I know we wanted to talk about Tua in Miami. Okay, we wanted to talk about Goff, right? And then we wanted to talk about Cam Ward. But before we go there, I just wanted to throw out Patrick Mahomes real quick, just real quick. Patrick Mahomes, they don't look good at all because, obviously they had some injuries, really who are you throwing to? But Patrick Mahomes was looking like he was going to create some magic again in that game, coming down the end. But for Kansas City as a whole, you could never count them out. I think Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. What I've been listening to, a lot of people are kind of like, backing off of their bandwagon a little bit, just kind of backing up a little bit and saying, well, Kansas City, I don't know. But you know what? I can't count Kansas City out. I don't care who's at receiver or who's not at receiver. I can't, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, that dude's going to work some sort of magic. The refs are not going to call a play where he bogarts and ramps up and hits the dude, the defender on the sideline. But anytime you touch Patrick Mahomes and he go flailing out of bounds, it's a flag. But I don't know if you guys saw that where he lowered his shoulder going out of bounds. And really gave that defender, because the defender was actually easing up a little bit. The defender was like, okay, this Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to hit this dude. And then Patrick Mahomes coming, so it's a double standard there, I think, with that.
It is a double standard, and it puts the defense at a disadvantage because now if the defender was the one that hit him, and let's say even if a toe was out of bounds, that's a flag.
That's a flag. Yes. Yeah. So, so again, you cannot count them out. So I just want to touch on that real quick. I just wanted to say, the team overall doesn't look championship-like. I think again, Travis Kelce need to just go ahead, get married. Just retire. Just go ahead. Get off the field. Get off the field, man. Don't, just leave. And so I just think the team overall looks tired. Andy doesn't make any adjustments, but as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, they always
Nolo. And Spagnuolo. The way the team is currently rostered, as long as they got Spags on that defense and Mahomes a quarterback, they got a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was it. That's all I wanted. Yeah. So, Lee, I know you wanted to talk about Tua in Miami. We saw the game. I saw some highlights. I saw some highlights of the game.
Did you see highlights? Were they really highlights?
Yeah, well, they were lights.
Hey,
the lights was out.
No. Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes had, I mean, it was a highlight reel,
Daniel
right?
Jones.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones was lighting it up.
He was lighting it up. He was
He was
lighting it up.
lighting it up. I
Yeah.
never thought I would see the day.
Yeah.
Huh?
I never thought I would see this day.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
What I saw.
Yeah. That was crazy.
I really don't have no words. There's nothing. I have no take on that. I have no take. Like I have to see it again. Like I have to see him do that again because that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, none at all. I wasn't
But
expecting that.
no, I want to touch on Tua,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not gonna let this go. I'm not gonna let this go. He, at the beginning of last season, went out of his way, right? After he got his money, he got his deal. He thought everything was rosy, everything is good, everything is going his way. He thought, okay, I got my respect, whatever whatever that looked like to him. And then he goes out of his way to try to deface Brian Flores. Talk about how Brian Flores coached him, said that he demeaned him, called him trash and all these other different things. Stuff that sounded like what head coaches say to players that play like trash, the players that don't perform the way that they want them to perform. Nothing that he said that Brian Flores said came across as malicious or racial or anything that was utterly like way outside the boundaries, right?
Old school.
Old school. We all know in those NFL locker rooms, things are said and communicated that cannot be said and communicated outside to the real world, right?
NSFW.
Exactly.
At work.
And you keep it in the locker room. He decides to bring it out and showcase it and try to derail Brian Flores' his reputation. That's what he tried to do. As if anything that Brian Flores said wasn't true. So now you got this guy where the jig is up on Mike McDaniel's offense. Everyone's caught up. We know what you do. And he has not evolved. He doesn't have a next, or maybe he has a quarterback that doesn't know how to evolve, right? But they're stuck in neutral right now. And then you see Tua going out, and Tua looks like utter trash, right? He was 14 of 23, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He couldn't get nothing going in that game. Brian Flores wanted to Justin Herbert. That was the quarterback that he wanted. Okay? He was outvoted, outranked by the owner, and the owner wanted Tua because I think the owner had Alabama ties. Okay? And look and see what's happening with those two quarterbacks. Okay? So people like Tua, you need to understand what your limitations are, right? And you need to understand that you probably need more in order for you to be successful in comparison to the next quarterback. And if you don't have that, this is what's going to happen. But when you put yourself out there as if it's all about you and you are the guy, right? And you are the engine, it's not that's reality is going to smack you in the face. And now you have, what's his name? Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill don't want to be there.
Mm-mm.
Tyreek Hill don't want to be there. He won out.
Yeah.
Right? And this is the same Tyreek Hill who, when he got there, Tua was just as good as Mahomes. He learned quick.
Yeah.
That ain't the case.
No.
This is not the case. So,
Yeah.
Look, I don't see this going well for them. I don't know how they're going to turn this around. I don't think Mike McDaniels is going to have a job with the Miami Dolphins come the end of the season. Wait, sorry. Unless by some miracle, Zach Wilson gets thrown in.
Yeah.
And saves the day.
Plays well.
And plays well because Zach Wilson has the skill set to unlock that offense.
Yeah.
That's the only saving grace for Mike McDaniels right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ifs, but it's a possibility. Yep.
Yeah. I think with Tua, he should have just retired from last year with the concussions and all the stuff, man, that was going on. He put himself in a bad situation in a bad light. These concussions are no joke, man. This is some serious stuff. And, I just think he should have retired just walk away from the game, go on the desk, do something else, do something, but I know he wanted to give it a shot again. And I think McDaniels has a good offense. I think it's just Tua. I think, like you said, like you guys said, if you put Zach Wilson in there, you plop him in there, I think Tyreek will come alive. I think the offense will come alive and it'll hum. And I think, they'll be back on track. If you put him in the game. I just think Tua's just not, he just doesn't need to be there, and it's unfortunate that that he stuck around. I pray that nothing happens to him, from a health standpoint. I don't want to see another concussion. That would be just too much. But I think he should have retired last year.
I have been a fan of Tua from when he was at Alabama. One, he's left-handed. Gotta love the lefties. Two, I love seeing precision passing, right? If Tua were with Bill Walsh in the 80s with the Niners, he'd look great. If Tua was with Sean Payton with the Saints when Drew Brees was there, he'd look great. But he ain't done. The way the current NFL is, you got to run for your life or get the ball out real quick. And if you don't have an arm, the defense starts to squat and then windows get tight. And Tua's got an accurate arm, but it's not a strong arm, right? And so if the line's blocking and you can run that San Francisco spread offense and dink and dunk all over the field, but one thing goes wrong and it goes down real fast. Pressure comes. He ain't scrambling for his life. He's not getting first downs like Herbert, like Caleb Williams. And he can't make the corners pay for the safeties coming up by going over the top. If Zach Wilson can play quarterback, can process McDaniel's offense with the speed on that team and being able to stretch the defense vertically and not just horizontally, yeah, that becomes a really nasty offense really, really quickly. But there's a lot you have to ask for to make a Tua work. It can work, but you have to ask for a lot. And in today's NFL, they're not paying the money to build that offensive line and keep that offensive line to let that quarterback do like they used to back in the day in the 80s when you could just do it. He's in the wrong era. He'd look really good with the Bill Parcells, but today's NFL, it just doesn't work.
Fun fact. The last time Tyreek Hill caught a pass of more than 30 yards in the air was last year, week 1. Week 1 of last year was the last time he caught a pass over 30 yards. Tua can't get him the ball. Defenses know they know how to scheme against him. His arm, he doesn't have a strong arm, and he can't get it to the distance that's needed. Yeah. So it's a waste. It's a waste because Tyreek is still that guy.
Yeah.
Some of this is on McDaniel for not changing the offense over time. Some of this is on the GM for not getting different players to adjust what the offense does. But there's an aspect to Tua that's just not. He is what he is, and I'm not sure that I really, as much as like I said, I've been a big proponent of Tua. I'm not sure they can get more out of Tua in Miami.
That's sad.
Whether you change the offensive scheme, whether you change the player personnel, it's going to be hard to get more out of Tua than they've got out of Tua.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. When you have two coordinators that leave, I know from experience, all right? You have two coordinators that leave your team. It's going to be tough sledding, man. It's tough. And look, I hate to bring this back to the Eagles, right? I hate to. I really
do.
Yeah, I really do, man. I
can see it. We can see it, Lance. We can see the anguish. We can see the anguish on your face.
I'm in turmoil over here.
Yeah, man. You can do it, though. You can do it.
I'll pull it off. But look, when you got a Jalen Hurts that has a different coordinator every year and finds some way to be a legit quarterback, top 10 quarterback in the NFL, now you flip the tables and you go, Detroit loses their two coordinators and offensive coordinator, which is most importantly actually Ben Johnson. And you got Jared Goff. Boy, that did not look good. Oh my goodness. I don't know what was going on over there, but man, they don't look good at all. I regret now drafting Amon-Ra St. Brown on my fantasy team. Now this gonna cost me, man. Shoot. But yeah, look, Jared Goff don't look good, man. It was evident for with the offense. Ben Johnson was making this. He had that offense tailor made for what Jared Goff can do and get the most potential out of Jared Goff. Levant, I know you know a lot about Jared Goff, man. What is your take on this situation in Detroit?
So Jared Goff has had the fortunes, right, of having been coached by Sean McVay and Ben Johnson. I mean, arguably two of the most brilliant offensive minds in the game. Okay? And he's had extensive time with them and had a tremendous amount of success being coached by them. Right? When McVay got to the point where he felt like he needed to move on, Goff didn't like that too much. And he felt that he got disrespected, thought the Rams shafted him, even though they made him the highest paid quarterback in the league. Okay, they did pay him. And so he ends up with Detroit. And as fortunes would have it, he ends up with another brilliant offensive coordinator who really doubled down on his skill set and crafted that offense around, well, not even really crafted the offense around him. It just seemed as if the offense was compatible with Goff.
Yeah.
Right? So fortunes abound, right? So now you got Goff, similar to Tua, who feels like, okay, he's drinking his own Kool-Aid, right? It's all about him. He's the guy. He's the one that's making this work. It's all about what he's bringing to the table. And he feels like everything kind of revolves around him. When Ben is gone, right? And mind you, too, the Detroit Lions, they also lost their passing coordinator. He went to the Jets. Okay? So they have no one else there. And when I heard reports coming out that Jared Goff is going to be taking more of an autonomy around what plays are going to be put into the playbook and, voice his opinion on what they should be running. Yeah, they were doomed, because Jared Goff is not a guy that you build an offense around unless you have a really good offensive scheme. He was Chuck Down Charlie the other day, man. Everything was 4 yards, 4 or 5 yards. Check down. And we all know that his pocket presence is abysmal. We saw the Micah Parsons run down. Someone likened it to a lion
gazelle
running after a gazelle, right? That's exactly what it looked like.
Yep.
If they think that they can ride on his coattails and for him to get them through the season, they're in big trouble. I mean, look at how the running game suffered. Gibbs.
Yeah.
Right? Gibbs had 19 yards.
Yeah.
Montgomery, 25 yards. So without Ben Johnson calling the plays and really having a sense of when to call certain plays, how to manipulate the defense, how to structure a game plan, I don't see Goff. It's going to be really, really tough sledding for him. People are going to see what I saw all along. They're going to see what I saw all along. He's a prototypical quarterback. Right? It's an ode to the 80s and 90s. If he was playing back then, he would have a Troy Aikman type of career, which would have been pretty good. But in this day and age, in this NFL where you got defensive linemen running 4.4, 4.5s, he's not, without a great offensive mind behind him, he's not going to make it.
So, yeah, last year, your boy was looking like Green Lantern. This year, without Ben Johnson, he's just Hal Jordan without the ring.
Without the ring.
Ben Johnson was making that boy able to do some stuff, and it was looking really, really good. And now it's like he just seems to be a guy, right? So you talked about the new offensive coordinator, John Morton, right? The last 2 years was the passing game coordinator for the Denver Broncos. So his last stop was under the Sean Payton offense, right? And the Sean Payton offense is very quarterback centric. And my guess is he's bringing that to Detroit, but Goff isn't. You don't put the offense on Goff. Like Goff distributes, you run the game. He's great on the play action, taking your shots downfield, that works great. But to have him dropping back 30 times a game, that's not his skill set. That's not his strength, right? And my worry for Detroit is this offensive coordinator is going to try to do that because that's what he's seen and that's what he's used to. And we'll see what happens. Now, as a Minnesota Viking, if Detroit has issues, I'm not gonna, shed tears or anything. But it's gonna be interesting to see how the mesh of Goff with this now third offensive style comes into play, because that offense and this players, there was so much synchrony, so much mesh between the players and the scheme. The scheme fit the players and the players fit the scheme. And if you changing up the scheme, I'm not sure those players, including the quarterback, fit it. And so how much time is that going to take? Are you going to get new players to fit the new scheme? Or are you going to get someone else? Because to Levon's point, the OC and the passing game corner left, so you didn't have that institutional memory with how the offense kind of ran. So we'll see. Just one game, but it's concerning for a team that went 15-2.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, look, everyone touts him as a top 10 quarterback, and under Ben Johnson, he played like a top 10 quarterback, right? But when you compare him to other top 10 quarterbacks that have lost an offensive coordinator, like you said, Lynx, Jalen Hurts, he's lost, many. His play still stays steady, right? You don't see a precipitous drop, okay? People forget Lamar Jackson just 2 years ago, he lost Greg Roman. Todd Monken comes in. Lamar Jackson, he's still playing at an MVP level, right? You had Josh Allen. He lost Daboll. Everybody thought Daboll was the mastermind behind Josh Allen, and he might have definitely contributed to him being where he is, at least at that point. But Josh Allen played it and dropped, right? So now, Goff, if you are who you say you are, let's see that your play should stay steady.
Yeah. This is what I saw. Dan Campbell on the sideline was befuddled. He looked like, what in the world is going on? This actually was Ben Johnson. This actually was the scheme. That's what he, last year he was like, this is my quarterback and this is my quarterback, man. This who we rolling with. This our boy.
Good enough for Detroit, Jared.
That's right. You're good enough for Detroit. But now I saw him on the sideline, and all that was going through his head was like, well, wow, this was Ben Johnson. I can't believe this. This dude don't look good at all. And so what I think is going to happen here in Detroit, if this continues, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, they are going to be very frustrated. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be frustrated. And this is going to cause some serious ruckus on the team. It's going to, and everybody is going to turn on Jared Goff. And Jared Goff can't handle that because he needs to be pat on the back. And he's not going to get that from anybody because these guys want the ball. And if they're not getting the ball and Jared can't execute the offense, it's not going to be pretty there. You're going to have a lot of frustrated people. So I don't know how this is going to turn out for them. But Lee, you guys hit the nail on the head. Jared Goff is in trouble, and they miss Ben Johnson, man. They just miss Ben Johnson. Cam Ward, man. Cam Ward looked really good. Cam Ward was, he was his arm talent. I was just amazed. I was actually watching. I just sat down and I was just looking, and the ball just comes out of his hand it's just what? I'm like, good grief. Man, this dude got an arm. And he's accurate. He's hitting the dudes, right in their hand, and they can't catch the ball. They cannot catch the ball for nothing. I thought CeeDee Lamb was Butterfingers, but these dudes take the cake, man. This was ridiculous. 3, 4, 5, 6 passes in a row, hitting you right in the hands. Cam Ward, don't get down on yourself, young man. You played a heck of a game. You look good as a quarterback. I think he's gonna have a great career. They just need some better receivers. If they can't catch the ball or something don't change, hopefully this first game they're like, okay, let's get on track and get on track for this young man, because he did everything he could do as a quarterback. Barring, everybody has some little hiccups here and there. He's a rookie. First game. But the intangibles and his arm and what I have seen from him looks really great, man. It looks good.
And I want to preface this. I know anyone watching or listening, they'd be like, what are you talking about? He had a great game. The stats don't show that, right? But he passes the eye test. And I think that's what you're
Yes,
alluding to,
yes,
the link.
yeah.
I mean, when you watch him play, he doesn't have a lot of help. There's not a lot of help. And like you said, guys dropping the ball, he's running for his life. The one thing that I notice about him, he has this uncanny ability to see the field. Like he sees stuff. I mean, for a rookie, for his first game to be against that defense, that's probably the top defense in the league. And everybody going into that game thought, okay, it was going to be a slaughter. And for the game to even be as close as it was, right, is all a credit to Cam Ward just doing what he could to keep it as close as possible. So, yeah, man, I think he's going to have a great season. Tennessee needs to get him help. They need to get him help fast. I mean, and I'm talking about this season. They need to make some moves. They need to make some acquisitions. They need to bring some help and get him set this season so that he can have a productive rookie season. Okay? Oh, go ahead, Doc.
No, just passes the eye test. The dude works hard. The dude is humble and he's hungry. He's going to get better. What impressed me was even the plays that didn't work. The bad plays weren't catastrophic plays. There was another quarterback in Tennessee that would make bad plays worse plays. Like even if it's taking a 5-yard loss, it's not trying to lateral the ball to someone falling down. It gets picked up and taken for a score. And so to be against a really good defense and with not much help passing, and to have your team within striking distance the entire game, your first time out, because that defense was putting they wasn't playing around. They trying to befuddle the rookie quarterback, and he did pretty well for a first game guy. So yeah, I think the future's bright. The future's bright for him. Will they do the due diligence and get him weapons to help open up that running game and give him some targets to make that offense potentially go?
Yeah. And before we sign off, since we're talking quarterbacks, I wasn't going to bring up the Rams, but I would be remiss not to mention Matthew Stafford eclipsing 60,000 yards passing.
Yeah, that was big.
With the career.
Yeah, big time.
He's now only one of 10 in NFL history to make it to that mark. And I think he's tied for the youngest with Matt Ryan, to do so. So we had a good game. Played the Texans. It was our defense looks good. I love the defense. And yeah, I'm looking forward to us evolving on the offensive side as well.
Keep him healthy, man. Keep that back healthy.
Yeah. He took some hits.
Yeah.
He took some hits and he got up. But he masks it well, so you never know when he's hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a tough dude. He's a real tough dude. Yeah, man. All right, fellas. All right. Go on to the next one. All right.